Welcome back everybody, Beer Hunter here. This is episode 1 of the mini-series How to Be a Bukkit Server Admin. Now, last episode we went through the brainstorming side of the server hosting. We talked about what kind of plugins we're going to use, how big it's going to be, and what kind of server it's going to be. And if you have a local hosted machine server or a hosted server via a server host like Creeper host and stuff like that. So today what we're going to do, we're actually going to be setting up the server, just a preliminary setup. Sorry, I can't speak today. We're not going to go through any plugins or anything like that. We're just going to get the server hosted, server working, and so it's going to be a plain vanilla server, a bukkit vanilla server, so you won't have any plugins or anything like that. And very simple to do. So what we're going to do, we're going to need a few things. So first of all, we're going to need the bukkit server. So again, as I mentioned in the last video, these will be in the description, these links. So we want to go to bukkit.org. Okay. But before we want to do that, there is a couple of things we'll need to do before that. As I mentioned in the other video, test your upload speed and how much RAM you've got in your machine. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to test our speed. So if we go to the speed test, this is agreed to with this website here, and all we're going to do, just go to the green arrow there, and that'll click on your local server, and it'll do your speed test. So if you let this run up, this will click download speed and upload speed as well. So as you can see, I'm just pushing 21 download, and I should get around 10 upload. Hopefully. Let's see how it works. Not bad at all. So as I mentioned in the last video, this is very important due to the fact that you have to upload to the network for your place to download as you host on your machine. So there we go, we've got our download speed and we've got our upload speed. So now our upload speed is 10 gigs. 10 megabytes a second upload, and our download is around 21. So there's one other website that I didn't show you, and this is, I think, no, okay, there we go. And this is a website, I'm not sure how accurate it is, but this runs off the vanilla Minecraft server, not bukkit, so there will be adjustments for that, but it's something you can check. It'll tell you how much player base you're looking to have on a vanilla server, stuff like that. So if we just put in our details here, so we've got 10.21 upload, and my download was, let's have a look, 21.48. Okay, and how much RAM does your computer have? So we've not covered that yet, so let's do that now. If you're running on a Windows system, there's a few ways you can find how much RAM you've got in your computer. The simplest and easiest way is you go to your start menu and you go to your computer. If you right click your computer in your start menu, you go to properties, and you will come down here and it'll say install memory RAM 4GB. So that's how much memory you've got actually on your system. Now this is asking in megabytes, and we'll need the megabytes throughout this mini series and throughout this video to set up. So that's not really useful for us. We're going to have to convert that into megabytes. Now to do that, you can actually just go through the calculator, and it's 1024 megabytes, because computers work in binary, per 1 gig. So we times that by 4, 4096 megabytes. Okay, now the other way to do this is go to your start menu, and in your search bar just type DXDIAG, and this will bring up this window. And this is DirectX diagnostic tool. So if you've got DirectX installed, you should have this. Now this gives you detailed information on your system, your GPU, your display drive, what drivers you've got, your sound and stuff like that. And it's a very useful tool. And it also gives you how much RAM you've got in megabytes, which is what we need. So we've got 4096 megabytes here. So we'll close that off, we don't need that now. 496. Okay, and this will just calculate and tell me what you can run. Okay, so yes, I can run a server on my connection, and I can host a maximum of 31 players at the same time plus yourself. So 32 players maximum. And they also said you've got a fast enough internet connection and enough RAM to cope with a decent number of players. If you want to have more players, then you should probably consider renting a bigger server instead. So what that is the hosted server we explained in the last episode. And they've got multiplayer in there, but there's different ones available. Okay, so we know we can run a server, we know we've got the speed, we know we've got the RAM to run a server, and we've got a guideline of how many players we could host on the server efficiently. Now be advised that a lot of plugins do slow your server down, and so the more plugins you have, the more work it's going to do, and the more lag it's going to cause in game. But as I said, that is a guide you can look up. I will post that in the description as well, so you can have a quick look at it. Okay, so we've got our speed, we've got our upload, and we've got a guideline of what we can do. So let's start by actually getting this process set up. So we want to go to the bukkit, bukkit.org. You'll be redirected to the forums. Now we want to click this link at the top saying get craft bukkit. What this will do, this will take you to the bukkit wiki. This will be in the description as well. And basically what we want to do, this is just how to set up the server in text forms, things like that. But we will actually need this, so let's start with this. We'll actually need this later on, so we'll keep this open. Sorry, I couldn't think of what I was going to say there. So what we want to do, we want to go to the Windows version, and as we're setting up on the Windows, this is what we'll need. And obviously we've got Linux and Mac OS there as well. So if you're on Linux or Mac OS, you can go to the respective sections of the board. So we want to download the latest recommended build. As of this video, it's still 1.6.4, and this link should always go to the latest recommended build. So we'll just click that. Okay, and we'll save that file. Okay, so that's done. That's all we need. Just minimize that a minute. So all we've got to do, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a folder on the desktop there, just so we can everything's nice and easy to access. So now we've downloaded our craft bukkit, which is the server platform. So we want to, I'm going to drag and drop this into our server directory there. Okay, so now what to do, we've got this open now. Okay, so what we're going to do is you go up to craft bukkit and rename that. Just take off all the 164R2 and stuff like that. Makes it a lot easier, and just keep it a craftbukkit.jar. Now what we need to do, we need to go and right click in this section here and go to new. I want a text document. I'm just going to call this run. Now we're going to edit this, so edit, okay, and we're going to go back to the wiki we just had, and we're going to scroll down. You've got this section here. What we're going to do, we're just going to copy and paste that. So what this is doing, this is telling the we're going to rename this to a batch file, which is a script to run in Windows. So what the script is telling it is to find Java, okay, implement this amount of RAM before you run it, and run this jar file, and this is why we renamed it as craft bukkit. So this has got to be in the same server directory as your craftbukkit.jar, as it won't run. Otherwise you're going to have to link it to different areas of your desktop and stuff like that. It's not really wise to do that. So that's what that does, and obviously pause, it'll keep the command prompt open so you can read it and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm going to leave it as 1 gig. So we've got a 1 gigabyte server here, and obviously if you do want to change that, just increment it in 1 gig increments, so 2048, 3052 I think, 56 sorry, and 4096 for 4 gig. So we're going to leave it at 1 gigabyte. So we're going to hit file, save as, and I'm just going to call this start.bat, and make sure if you go down to the bottom here, all files are checked. Okay, so this will be saving as a batch file, and as you can see that, get rid of that, and as you can see, let's just put this into there. Okay, and you can see that it's made a batch file there, so we can get rid of this one now, we don't need it. So we've got that sorted, we've got that set up. Now all we've got to do is double tap this, and that should set everything up for us. And we've done everything right. There we go. You can see our command line there, what we give it, and there it's setting up the spawn area, and this will generate all the files you need inside of your server. And now this can generate spawns for the netherworld, overworld, and the end. And there we go. That is a server done and complete. Okay, there's one last thing you need to do before you actually do anything else in the server process step. We've got to find a way to get people on the server. Now we do this by port forwarding. Now I can't really show you on mine, but I have got a port forward video tutorial on my YouTube, which I'll link in the description as well, and basically that'll tell you how to port forward for Minecraft, and that'll allow people to join your server if you're behind a firewall and network router. Okay guys, so that is how to set up the server, just the basic start of the server. Next video we're going to go through the configuration of the server, stuff like that, going through the server properties files and whitelist and things like that and what they do. So again, thank you very much for watching guys. Comment, rate and subscribe. Thank you, and I'll see you next time for episode 2. Take it easy.